Hello, everybody. It's me. I'm back with a another tier list. This one is the best U.S. states tier list. Best states in the United States by Colin Clegg 4. Go follow him on Twitter, I guess. I, uh, I have changed it a bit. One, I changed the colors. I don't know why people make red the S tier. Red's bad in my opinion. That's how like the stop sign is red. Like you know, dangerous stuff is usually in like the red, orange, yellow category, whereas good stuff is like green and blue. So I switched those. And then I added a tier at the very top above S and a tier at the bottom below D. Uh, I did this blue one up here, formerly Eden, that's reserved for a specific state, and actual hell down here at the bottom in red, which is also reserved for a specific state. Um, so yeah, we're gonna start. I think it's alphabetical here, so we're just gonna go through alphabetically. Starting with Alabama. I've only been to Alabama once in my life, and it was I just drove through it, but there had been a tornado and it was pretty there was a lot of damage that I drove through. They had the National Guard even deployed like just on streets, like just guarding streets and stuff. So that one's gonna be like a C. I don't think that was a fantastic experience, but I didn't really get to experience Alabama, so I don't want to put it like in D. And that was back in I want to say 2011. Nah, it was like 2010. My bad. Next up is Alaska. I've never been there. It's one of the newest states. I forget if it or Hawaii was the last one. I think Alaska was the last one. I think Hawaii is the 49th, right? Maybe. Never been there. Pretty beautiful scenery from what I understand, but I wouldn't want to live there. It's apparently expensive is all get out up there. It's very expensive to live in Alaska, so I'd never want to live there, but I wouldn't mind visiting. I think it'd be pretty cool. And maybe Russia should have kept it. Maybe it should have got independence. I don't know. If I lived in Alaska, I'd vote for the Alaskan Independence Party. But I'm gonna put that in a lot of good things, but man, that cost of living, oof. Arizona. I've been to Arizona. I've visited Arizona, Tucson or Tucson, Arizona. Pretty cool. Um, Went to a mission down there. That was pretty cool. Climbed this hill with this cross on it. Uh, at some points you gotta like get down on your hands and knees. I didn't go up that high. I think I stopped about halfway. I was pretty spooked. I went there in like late November. Um, of I guess it was 2015. Yeah, late November 2015. I went to Arizona. Um, yeah, nice state. I enjoyed it. I saw a nice little museum. I wouldn't want to live there. I don't think as many people that live in the Southwest should live in the Southwest. Some people have some good reasons, like it's better breathing air and stuff like that. They don't like the cold and stuff, but uh, God did not intend for massive cities in the desert. So for that, I'm gonna put a B. You're a problem if you live in one of these massive cities down there. Give it back to the Navajo and all those people. Uh, Arkansas. So Arkansas is gonna go in the S tier. Um, they contain part of Eden, but not most of it. Just a not even half, maybe a quarter, more like 15% of Eden. So they're almost in the formerly Eden tier, but there's a lot of it that's not Eden and is just kind of meh. The Washtas are uh, pretty good part, but the rest of it is just kind of whatever. But that just the sliver of Eden, formerly Eden, being in there throws them in the S tier. Uh, California kind of has a bit of the same problem as Arizona going on. Really, not that many people should be living there. Used to be real beautiful, still pretty beautiful in some parts, but yeah, the past 60 years. No, more like 70 now. I guess it's 2020. Oh shit, I'm on Steam. I'm just gonna. You didn't see that. You didn't see that person start that game. But yeah, the past 70 years have not been too good for them. But I don't hate California. I've never been there either. So I don't know. I'm gonna throw them in the C tier. Yeah, I'm gonna throw them in the C tier. Colorado, never been there either, but I heard pretty good things about it. I hear the nature's still pretty good, and they've only got like one big city or like one area where there's a lot of population. Um, Never been there, but I'm gonna throw them up in the C tier. Oh yeah, and this is going left to right, of course, like always. Yeah, definitely below Arizona because I've never been to Colorado, but Connecticut, never been there. And out of like all the eastern states, they're pretty low. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna put them in D. I don't know about Connecticut. Hard to remember how to spell their name. Delaware. They're kind of in the same boat as Connecticut, unfortunately. Also, they had like one. They had like I'm pretty sure they had like a Native American reservation for a little bit, and then like they took it away or something. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. That could be not real. I'm no expert, but uh, the northern part was partially colonized by the Swedes, the Swedish peoples. Um, but there's hardly any Swedes there anymore. That's disappointing. They had some potential and they lost it. So they're gonna get put above Connecticut because they had potential. Connecticut didn't have any potential, but they lost it. Um, I don't know why the District of Columbia is in here. Uh, that's not a state. Hmm. That honestly should be put in hell. I think that's gonna be put in hell. This was meant for one state, but I didn't see that the District of Columbia was there. But that's not a state, by the way. Uh, it's in its own special category of things. Like we have territories, and like we have three different categories of territory. But then we have states, and then we have the District of Columbia, which I think is considered like a federal district, which separates it from territories. Uh, yeah. Florida. If I have to explain why this one's going in D below Connecticut, you're you shouldn't even be watching this video. Um, Georgia. I've been in Georgia once. It was okay. I didn't see a lot of Georgia. I have a friend, I think, who's kind of from Georgia. I think I don't know if he was born there or not, but he He's gone back a couple times, I think, and he really loves Georgia. He says a lot of good things about it. And I knew a Boer guy, Boer. I don't know how you actually pronounce the word, but his family resettled in Georgia, I think, after the end of apartheid. Uh, yeah, but never, only been there once. Didn't see a lot of it. What I saw was okay. I wouldn't ever want to live there. Too hot for me, too muggy. I mean, where I live already is bad enough, but Georgia would be worse. But they're not the worst thing ever. Oh, they were also settled by convicts. They're kind of like they were like Australia before Australia. They might go above California. I've been to Georgia technically. Hawaii, kind of the same problem as Alaska, but I think they're kind of losing a bit of their nature. There's too many people in Hawaii now, uh, and just an insane cost of living. And but the nature's kind of nice. I'm gonna put them. And I've never been there. I'm gonna put them low B. Because I think it'd be cool to visit Hawaii once, but I don't know. They should be independent. They should have been their own country underneath their royal family. They should have been an independent kingdom. Sorry what those people did to you, Hawaii, when they overthrew your rightful government. Idaho, never been there. I know there's plenty of Mormons kind of in the south around Pocatello. Basically part of the rightful nation of Deseret. Uh, I would move to Coeur d'Alene, however you say it. It's in the north. I considered moving there at one point of like places where I might want to live. I was like, Coeur d'Alene is seems pretty nice, but haven't been there. Don't have much to say about it. Just kind of like a non-state really doesn't really factor into my thoughts a whole lot. It's gonna go maybe just above California. They're pretty equal in my mind, honestly. California should be a lot higher, but it's just not. Illinois. I've been through Illinois, and I'm not that impressed with it. Chicago was kind of cool. Didn't get to see a lot of Chicago the one time I was there. And then the rest of the state's just kind of nothing, which is fine. That's fine. I like that. But I mean, nothing really to do. No great scenery. It's just kind of cornfields. And there's East St. Louis, which is the worst part of St. Louis, but they can gamble, so that's nice. Cairo, Illinois should have been a bigger thing, but it wasn't. Kind of failed. That's sad. I cry about that sometimes. Um, yeah, not horrible. I might rate them above Alabama and Georgia. Here, I want it in front. There we go. But they're in C for sure. Indiana, kind of the same thing. I think I like Indiana a bit more. Man, I don't know. They're pretty equal. I'll put Indiana just below. Iowa. Iowa. Not my cup of tea. Haven't been there, but I don't think I'd ever want to go there. They're gonna go they're gonna go below California, I think. And we come across the worst state in the union. Uh the absolute worst. Horrid place. Kansas. Actual hell. Uh 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 Had to wash the taste out of my mouth after saying the name Kansas. Um, just super boring place. Nothing really going on there. Um, They stole the name Kansas uh, from the city. Okay, Kansas City, Missouri was named Kansas City before Kansas was a state. And I mean, the city stole it from the river Kansas, but yeah, oof. Real flat state, boring. It's mostly the same driving through it. It takes fucking like 8 hours, not really, but it takes hours to drive through this state, and it's just horrid. It's boring. It sucks. Um, Also, just history with them. They Jayhawkers, the bleeding Kansas. All that. Uh, I'm anti-slavery, pro-union. My family fought for the union, but Kansas, they're going in actual hell. Below DC, Kentucky. They give us Kentucky Fried Chicken. Louisville's kind of nice. Louisville, it's kind of nice. Haven't really been there though. They might, they might go here, and just below Indiana. Maine, never been there. Seems kind of nice though, if very expensive. A lot of nice wilderness in the northern part. Not a very populated state. Kind of suck though in that they used to be part of Massachusetts. They're gonna go there. Louisiana. Now Louisiana is a good state. They're gonna go up in S tier. It's hot and humid, and that kind of sucks. But they got the Cajuns, they got the Creoles. Uh, they got some culture down there that's pretty cool. New Orleans, great city, love it. Except for the hurricanes and stuff, that's not too great. Uh, the food's pretty good. Some history, some culture, nice place throughout the state. Yeah, people like Huey Long from Louisiana, so kind of nice. Acadiana down there, nice place. Yeah, Missouri should have been more like that. Let me tell you, Missouri used to have French Missourians who I think call themselves Creoles as well. And we should have been the other Louisiana slash Quebec, but whatever. I won't get into that. Maryland, kind of cool. Some cool history there. You got some Roman Catholic history going on there. That's what the state was intended for, was Catholics to have a place to live. Back when it was an English colony, British colony. Uh, kind of sucks though. Real swampy. Uh, Disease ridden. Uh, it's like the northernmost culturally southern state. Uh, and it's pretty culturally southern. Baltimore sucks. I knew a guy from Baltimore very briefly. I hope he's doing all right. I haven't talked to him in a long time, for very good reasons. Why we have not talked. But yeah, him talking about Baltimore. Whew, he was from a bad part of Baltimore, but uh, yeah, just Maryland doesn't seem all that great. Some cool history, but that's about it. It's gonna go, I think. Would I rather live in Iowa or Maryland? Would I rather visit Iowa or Maryland? I think I'd rather visit Iowa and live in Iowa than Maryland. Massachusetts used to be cool, not so cool anymore. Um, they got some history, but man, cost of living, I don't know. They're gonna go above Maryland, I think, but I think I'd pick Iowa over Massachusetts. Michigan, some parts are pretty good. The Upper Peninsula seems pretty chill. Other parts, Flint, Michigan, I would never even want to step foot in. If I can't drink the water, I don't know if I want to be there unless like you got some real cool shit, and that's Michigan does not have real cool shit. Uh, Michigan. I think I would rather live in Michigan than California, but I think I'd pick Idaho before Michigan. Minnesota, kind of the same boat as Michigan. I think I would pick Minnesota over Michigan though. Uh, Mississippi, same boat as Alabama. I think I'd actually put them below Georgia. Actually, if we're throwing in the idea of would I rather live there, I think all three of these would go below. I'm gonna move Georgia in front of Alabama, I think. Yeah, I think it'd be more like this if we're talking if I would want to live in a place or even visit actually. I don't know. But not much wrong with a lot of those states. Just all right, and we're upon formerly Eden, Missouri. Um, the biggest and most unique geographic region in Missouri, the Ozarks, the Ozark Mountains, the Ozark Plateau, whatever name you want to call it. I call it Eden. Uh, I have definitive, objective, scientifically verified, and historically verified proof that Eden was actually located in Missouri. I'll get into that in another video, not just in Missouri, but in the Ozarks. I'll get into that some other time, like with the details, but it's the truth. Northern Missouri might as well be Iowa or Kansas or Nebraska. I don't really care about northern Missouri. If you're north of the Missouri River, uh, and there's a region, a culturally distinct region north of the Missouri River that's separate from the rest. That's called Little Dixie. Uh, to them too. That's generally around like Kansas City and kind of like central northern Missouri, like around Columbia and stuff. Settled by like Southerners, whereas the Ozarks was settled by more Appalachians. And then there's the Southeast, SEMO, Southeast Missouri. They're fucking whatever. They could have been cooler if they had been the Northern Louisiana, but no, they fucking killed off their French population. Then St. Louis is whatever too. Um, and Kansas City. I mean, some good food in those areas, some cool stuff, but I wouldn't want to live in either of those cities. Keep me in the small towns of Missouri, okay? Uh, kind of doxed myself there, but that's fine. Next up is Montana. They seem pretty cool, but I don't know. Cost of living's pretty bad. I have a friend that lives up there, and he's told me about housing prices and that they're just like skyrocketing. I don't know. I think I'd rather live there than like Hawaii, though. I think I'd rather visit Montana than Hawaii, but it'd be to visit that friend. Now, Nebraska. Nebraska is going to get put into the A tier just because they have the best zoo in America. In Omaha, Nebraska. That shit is fire. That's crazy. Crazy place, very cool. Omaha Zoo, highly recommend if you're going to visit a zoo in America, you go to the Omaha Zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. While I think overall I kind of liked my Arizona trip more, and there was a lot more variety, that zoo, it puts it in the A tier. I guess actually I'm gonna put it above Alaska. I've never been to Alaska, but Nevada. Uh, I don't know. They're gonna go like beneath Iowa, maybe. More desert that people should not be living in. In the please, I just want to put you in front of Massachusetts. Here we go. Uh, I would like to visit Las Vegas once just to say I've been, but oh, the movie Tremors. Uh, what's the name of the town? Perfection, Nevada. Uh, yeah, that's set in Nevada, so that's kind of cool. That gives Nevada some points. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. C tier though. New Hampshire. Expensive, but kind of cool. One of the cooler uh, eastern states. They might go above Maine just for having a more interesting history. And I think I would live in New Hampshire. I don't know if I'd live in Maine. New Jersey, they're gonna go beneath Maryland. Cool history, but anymore. They got the Pine Barrens, with the Jersey Devil. That shit's kind of cool. But I would never want to live there, and I probably don't even think I'd ever want to visit. New Mexico. New Mexico gets to go, I think, above Nebraska. I really enjoyed my visit to New Mexico. I stayed in some resort, the Tamaya, which I know staying in a resort really reflects well on the rest of the state. But I visited Roswell too. That's kind of cool. John Denver attended the Roswell Military Institute or Military Academy, whatever. It's like a military school in Roswell, Nevada. But John Denver attended that, so that's cool. But Roswell was pretty neat. I liked driving through New Mexico. I think the Petrified National Forest or whatever is in New Mexico. That's kind of cool. I really enjoyed the environment there. Staying at that resort was pretty choice during the off season. Would recommend. I think it's called the Tamaya. And that was the same trip as Arizona, and that was definitely a lot of fun. I enjoyed that time. A lot of vivid memories in my head. Uh, New York. Mm, they're gonna go. I think. I don't know. Below California. They have kind of a neat history. They got the Iroquois. They got the northern part's pretty cool. New York City's kind of cool. Uh, they were, pretty nice place to live. Kind of, not really, in like the mid of the 20th century. But I don't know. Even though New York is like a financial powerhouse, I think it was a manufacturing powerhouse during that middle part of the 20th century. Like quality of life there really varies heavily depending on when you're living there, like what years you're living there, and like where you're living. So I never want to live in New York City, and then the rest of the state just kind of exists in the mind of the New York state government to feed New York City, to just part of the New York City sphere of influence. But the northern part could be really nice. It should maybe even be its own state. I don't know. New York City should just separate, maybe. North Carolina seems kind of cool. They're gonna go up here. Kind of cool history. Have some family out there. Even my family, before I was born into my nuclear family, they lived in North Carolina. They'd moved there from Missouri. I don't know. They might even go above these. I don't know. It's gonna be in here. It might be at the bottom. North Dakota, I haven't been there, but I'd like to visit. Cool nature. And if it's anything like South Dakota, which once we get to it, I'll talk about. It's gonna be in the B tier. Ohio. they produce a lot of presidents, so that's one thing. But I don't know much about Ohio, and I don't really care. But I think they're above Iowa, maybe. Actually, we're gonna put them above California even. A lot of presidents come from Ohio, so they're doing something. Um, Oklahoma, nowadays kind of sucks, but back when it was Indian territory, pretty cool. Um, they also got a bit of the Washtas. That's a nice area. Don't like toll roads. The only toll roads I've ever experienced have been in Oklahoma. They're gonna go like here, maybe. I think I'd still rather live in Oklahoma than Massachusetts and Maryland and New Jersey. Only tornado I've really been close to that I remember was in Oklahoma. So Oregon, pretty cool, pretty cool. I would maybe live in Oregon. Put them up in B. Cool, cool nature. They've got a sharp divide too between like the coastal rainforesty kind of area and then like the eastern part that's almost like desert. It's like a cool desert, badlands kind of area. So that's cool. Pennsylvania, I would normally put higher, but I've met several people from Pennsylvania, and they seem to really dislike their state. And I've seen them post some shit that it's like, man, Pennsylvania is fucked up. But they've got a cool history. You know, you got Quakers, you got Pennsylvania Dutch. Looks like it would be nice land, but I guess some people have fucked it up. So it's gonna maybe go above Ohio. Actually, just below. A lot of potential there that they have fucked up. Rhode Island, they're gonna go D. They're actually gonna go below Florida. I've read some fucked up shit about the history of Rhode Island. Like they were like the last state to enfranchise like all like white males back in the day. Like some guy got thrown in jail for just being like too poor to vote or something. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I read about this, but every time I hear about Rhode Island now, that just kind of pops up, and I'm like, damn, I don't know about that. South Carolina, I've been there. It's all right. I'm gonna throw it above Georgia. I would maybe consider living in South Carolina, but it is also very fucking hot and humid, so I don't know about that. And they have some neat history. Although the Carolinas really should have never split. Read up on why there is a North and South Carolina, because there used to just be a Carolina. Back when we were colonies, there was like I think it was a colony and not like a dominion or other things, whatever. But the Carolinas used to be one state, and then the landowners in Carolina, the people or charter holders, the people who were in charge of the government, were like, let's just split our power and stuff, and they fucking split the state, and it's stupid. And now we have a North and South Carolina. It's bad. I hate it. Uh, South Dakota, very nice state. I would go back to South Dakota. I'm gonna throw them beneath Alaska, actually above Alaska. Very cool nature. A lot more stuff than you would think there is to see in South Dakota. Mammoth Dig in Hot Springs, South Dakota. Pretty cool. Cool state. Like them. Tennessee, never been there. Don't know much about Tennessee. It's pretty whatever. I don't think I would live there. They're gonna maybe go there. I think that's fine. Texas. I would never want to live in Texas. Way too hot for me. They have some cool history, but Texans are a different breed. They are built different, both in mind, spirit, and body. We're gonna go like there. Like Texas has a lot of cool shit, but it's also got a lot of not cool shit, and it's just whatever. Below Pennsylvania, that's what I'm gonna say. Utah. I'm gonna throw them up here. I really want to go to Utah. I don't know much about how it really is, but I'd like to visit. They've got some really cool history. Um, should be the core territory of the independent state of Deseret, but my country had to purge the Mormons. Missouri purged the Mormons back in the 1850s. And then my country had to go to war with them too. So that's interesting stuff. I don't know. Read up on the history of Utah. I'd go there. Whatever. Vermont, pretty cool. I'm gonna throw them up above Alaska. I've never been there, but they uh they were an independent country for a little bit, so that's cool. A lot of people don't know about that one. Yeah, the Green Mountain Boys, so cool stuff. Cool history with Vermont. I'd live there. I think the cost of living is a bit higher than like New Hampshire even, so I don't know if I'd really live there, but it'd be a cool place to live. Virginia has some of the same problems as Maryland and Pennsylvania, but I'm slightly more of a fan of Virginia. They're gonna go and see. Cool history. I mean, I think they were like the most populous colony, and they've had a big influence on the nation's history. So cool stuff. There's this guy who writes quests from on 4chan. I don't think he writes any on 4chan anymore. Uh, Very cool guy. He's from Virginia, and a lot of his shit. He set some quests in Virginia, and he talks about them in others. So, yeah. Washington, kind of in the same boat as Oregon. I think I'd pick Oregon over Washington, though. West Virginia should have never split, unfortunately. I know the history behind it splitting, but it bothers me having a West Virginia and just I don't know. But it is kind of the better part of Virginia in some ways. They got some cool shit going on there. Mothman, uh, Kanawha, shit like that. But they're also real poor. I wouldn't want to live in West Virginia, so it would kind of suck. They're below. Uh, they're like here. Wisconsin, I don't know. Fuck Wisconsin. I don't care about them at all. They're gonna go there. They're gonna go above Massachusetts just because, that 70s show, the Let's Go Wisconsin or whatever. Hello Wisconsin. That's what they say. Hello Wisconsin. Wyoming. I had an extended stay in Wyoming for multiple reasons that I will not get into. That was a fun time. I'm gonna get into it actually. Like a semi accidentally hit a rock while driving, and it got thrown into my mom's fucking car and destroyed it. So we were stuck there waiting to get that fixed. And my dad, who was with us, got very ill. I think while we were in South Dakota still, actually, and we were driving up into Montana for this vacation. We were gonna go up to the West Coast and go all along it and then come back. But he got sick, and there was a VA, a Veterans Affairs or Association, whatever the fuck, hospital in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and so that was like the closest one, and so we went there, and we stayed there for a little bit. And I think when we were getting ready to leave, because he was better, he was feeling good enough to drive home and not just be fucking bedridden. That's when my mom's car got destroyed, and so we were laid up there for like 2 weeks, maybe week and a half. Maybe it was just a week. It felt like forever because there was nothing to do in that hotel. It was literally wake up, go to one of the restaurants around the hotel or in the hotel and eat, go back to the room, fuck around on. I think I had a laptop with me. Fuck around on the laptop and read 4chan and watch anime, watch TV on the television in there, eat, do the same shit, go to bed, wake up, just on repeat. So I mean, it wasn't horrible. The car got hit on the way back from a very nice restaurant with some very friendly waitresses. They were young and cute and uh, very talkative, but not like overly like hovery. They weren't like awful. Tried Rocky Mountain oysters there. It was some good shit. That's gonna go like I'd live in Wyoming too. It's gonna go there. Why not? That seems like a good spot. So yeah, this is my official tier list for states. Best U.S. states. That's it. Bye.